So I want to share with you a diagram I produced before COVID and see if you recognize any of the elements in it at all. Okay. So this is the diagram I want to share. And I know it's the sort of diagram they tell you when you go on project presentation courses you should never use. But I'm going to use it anyway. I'm going to start here where it says I have a high workload. Obviously not you guys, nothing to do, just chilling out on Cube all the time. So I don't have time to plan, to develop innovative solutions, or actually to do the work I'm supposed to. And net result of that is I don't realize, because I haven't fully planned, how much work I'm committed to, and I've only done half. So I say yes, more than is realistic or possible, which then pushes my workload up, giving me less time to plan or to do stuff, which therefore means that sometimes I come close to deadlines other people think are important. And because those other people are keen to reach their goals, they interrupt me. So I spend a lot of my time restarting half-done work, pushing my workload even higher, which gives me less time to plan or to do. So now people know I'm disorganized, they can interrupt me and get away with it. And it goes round. Have you seen this happening to your colleagues at work? So you're allowed to speak,
Yeah.
it's not a conference call.
To me.
Okay, so how could I know your lives before I met you? How could I know your lives before I met you? The way I know your lives is because this pattern, everybody was actually in the similar pattern. Why? That's what I want us to understand. If you understand what caused this, then we can really drive and deliver for our projects. Otherwise, we get a bit stuck. So let's have a look at what's going on. Many people had stretching and challenging targets, markets collapsing, that was life. At the same time, they were trying to do things the way they always had, which meant that they had to do things the way they always had, and many of the things they did had little effect. So this is what we call the new world. But what happened was this was happening in the background. And then COVID came along. And what happened with COVID was really simple. It basically came along and changed all the rules for us. Let me just try and share this with you. I sometimes describe COVID as the naughty little boy. This is a story, quite a traditional story. Some crooks basically sold the emperor a cloth which was made out of gold. They just stole the gold, pretended made the emperor some clothes, and then the emperor goes out, and when the emperor goes out, what happens is he then ends up in a situation where the little boy basically says, oh, he's got no clothes. And everyone goes, yes, it's true, the emperor has no clothes. So why am I telling you this? Because the challenges we faced were here before COVID, and COVID has just simply exposed them. So I'll give you like a historical perspective of what we were watching in the last few years, okay, which was basically, if you go back in time, these people here, they're like the first commuters ever. They used to crawl on their knees for about a mile or two to go to work. The place of work is a coal mine. In fact, in the old days, they would refer to that as the coal face. And in fact, today people still sometimes talk about the coal face as being the place of work. Then we moved from that and we started looking at goods in, goods out. You know, people in rows trying to manufacture things. And then we moved from that. We then realized that we could actually work across farms in the same way. And as we started to move our way through progress, we went to offices, inboxes, outboxes. We then got computers. Once we got computers, what happened at that point was we then, excuse me, I'm going to jump this one. We put people into cubicles. So you see that progression? There's no real change of ideas. We're just doing the same idea over and over again, all the way to our digital world. So what do I want to share with you? Have you noticed that the pace of change around us might have been slightly different from how it was in the past? You're allowed to nod or shake your head. Let's do this together. I would like you, if it's possible, to imagine a little timeline where at this end of the timeline is the word now, and at the other end of the timeline is the word the past. And up here, I'm going to draw a number of things. The number of people on the planet. I'm going to add to the number of people on the planet. I'm going to add the amount of sort of internet traffic. I'm going to add, I don't know, number of companies actually actively seeking change. I'm going to add to that the speed of technology. Okay, now, this is us, 2020. Past. Should we go back like 30 years? 1990. Is that good? Everyone can remember 30 years back. Which is higher in terms of those things, now or the past? Which is higher, now or the past?
Now.
You allowed to talk?
No.
Now?
No.
Everyone's gone for now? Okay. So
Now.
if that's
Now.
if that's now and that's the past, how are those 2 points joined together? Is it like a straight line or a curvy line, or give me your view.
Exponential.
Exponential. Why is it exponential? More people going up exponentially, network effects of technology going up exponentially. Okay, that's not interesting. Everybody knows that for a long time, the world has been accelerating. Not interesting. Now you're doing annual budgets, am I correct? You're doing annual analysis. Why do we do things on the basis of a year? Because once upon a time, a year was a sensible period of time to review business performance. Why? Because for most organizations and most people in organizations, they could actually learn faster than the world was changing. Is that fair? Okay, now let's do this together. What do you think has happened to our pace and ability to learn over the same 30-year period? Okay, I'm going to move the pen horizontal. If you want me to go up, shout up, I'll go up. If you want me to go down, shout down, I'll go down. Otherwise, I'll just go horizontal. So let's do it together so we get a group view of our experience of how fast your organization has learned and changed over the past 30 years. Action, go. Switch that up or down?
Up. Up.
Keep going straight.
Up or down?
Up. Up.
Up? Okay, a bit of up. Okay. Okay. So what I'm trying to explain is the reason I knew your lives on that diagram with the big bubbles and the circles is because of this here. Once upon a time, we could learn faster than the world was changing. When you're in a world which you can learn faster than the world is changing, when you join an organization, you generally go to work for somebody who knows what's going on. So there's somebody who can tell you what to do because you can learn faster than the world is changing. Makes sense, okay? When the world starts moving faster than you can actually learn, then you get that chaos with the bubbles. So that's how I knew it, because I'd spent time trying to understand what was happening to everyone here. And this is COVID, because COVID simply exposed the fact that we were no longer living in the world we thought we were. And we're going to do it together. I'm going to build different organizations, and then we'll talk about projects and change in each one of them and see how it works out. So let me show you what's happened with change, and then we'll really see why it's getting interesting. So let me just draw the little curves again, and I'm just going to build a number of different things. First of all, I want you to forget that you are important BPS people. I want you to not be nice people. I want you to forget all about the good people you are. I just want for the next 3 minutes for you to become greedy cigar smoking capitalists. Okay, so you're now greedy cigar smoking capitalists, and you've woken up in the morning, but you've woken up in the morning on the left hand side in the world where you could learn and change fast and the world is moving. You've woken up. What's the first thought which goes through your mind? First thought, come on, you greedy capitalists. First thought in your mind is, hello, is anyone there?
How can I make money?
Money.
Yeah.
Who said that? Whoever said that, good. You're a very greedy capitalist. I like that. So the first thought is about money. What's the second thought? First thought is, how do I make money? Second thought is, how do I make even more money? Okay. And then the third thought is, how? How do I make money? Okay. When you're on the left-hand side, if you can learn faster than the world is changing, what does that mean? It means you can go and look at a marketplace, understand it, work out what it looks like, look at your products, see what the competitors are. You can make a really good analysis of a product you're going to bring to market. Okay. When you're in that environment, that's great. That means you have an idea of a product or an offering which you can bring to market. Good. So you also understand the steps you need to do to create that, to sell it to customers, to make some money. Okay? So let's just try and understand. If you're in that world, strategies for making money. One is making your product. The second is making sure your customers pay more and more every year. The third is making sure your suppliers charge you less and less and less. Am I right? These good strategies?
Yeah.
And so you decide the business is going well and you start to hire people. Okay? Let's pretend now that you're hiring people. Different skills, you know the different skills. You're hiring people. What sort of people do you hire? Do you hire people who've never done anything in those particular areas before? Or do you want people with lots and lots of experience?
Mix.
Experience.
You're greedy,
Experience.
remember? You want experience. Do you want crazy people who are experienced, but when you tell them to do A, they go and do B?
Depends.
No.
Can be
you want come old world. You want to make more and more money. Do you want people doing crazy things, wasting your money? Do
God,
as
no.
I say. Okay, those are going to be good strategies. So you hire somebody, okay, and when you hire them, you know they come into the organization. You say, "What do you do?" It says, "I'm a salesperson." You say, "Stand in the left-hand corner." "What do you do?" "I'm from HR." "Stand over there." "What do you do?" "I'm technical." "Stand over there." You don't group them and mix them all up. Why? Because you want their experience to shine through. You group them by their skills, and if you're very smart, you keep them apart. Partly because you don't want them to realize how much everyone's being paid, but also by having all the salespeople go to lunch with each other, their experience builds, they produce more of the product, and you make more money. It's a normal formula. We use this formula like for 100 years. So once you got the people, you now need to organize them. Who do you put in charge? Do you put like the guy who doesn't know anything? No. You use, as I said, the person who understands the most, and you tell the others to listen to what that person says. So quite simply, you build a beautiful machine, a lovely hierarchy like that. People join where?
At the
Where do they
bottom.
join? And you tell them a specific lie. What's the lie? One day, you two will be at the top. Why is it a lie? Because you are there and you're not going anywhere. Why do they never discover you lied to them? Because you get growth, more of the same. So next year, younger people come below them. The organization grows downwards. The people who are here suddenly get a team. And they think they've gone up. You know, like when you're on a train and the other train moves and you think you're moving, they're not really moving. It's just relative. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So everybody's happy. Business goes really well. And then the new world starts to happen. Did you experience this in your careers? And suddenly you have some bosses who want to be command and control, but their style no longer fits. You have organizational structures from your clients and your suppliers, but they seem too rigid. Has this happened to you? Hello, anyone there? Anyone
Yeah,
there?
yes.
Yes,
totally.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. It's not a conference call. You're allowed to talk. So, what do we do in this world? You wake up as a greedy capitalist. First thought in your mind is again, money.
Money.
But now the question is how to do getting the money. So in the old world, the trick was do more of the same, more of the same. Now we need to do differently. Closer to customer, innovation, technology, automation. There are going to be different things we need to do. Now, if I ask you tell me about the people you're going to hire. Experience on its own in depth is not enough. You want them also to connect with each other. Why? Because you know that between these parts, there's going to be a need to connect. I'll give you an example with the old world. Two people in here. I'm going to call this one here Bob. I'm going to call this one here Bill. Okay? So Bob has gone to a customer and discovered something which the customer likes. He comes back in. Bob just does it. Bad news, when he does it, it impacts on another part of Deloitte, of the company. So Bill complains. Who does Bill complain to? Does he complain to Bob in a different function and different, who works for a different partner in a different practice? No, he goes to his boss, who then goes up and up and up until it comes to you. So now you have this complaint. What do? You take your two direct reports, you knock their heads together. Do you know what that does? It sends down two bolts of lightning. One zaps Bob, one zaps Bill. What does Bill learn? Don't complain. It just comes back and gets you. It's not worth it. What does Bob learn? Look, don't do what the customers, don't do anything special. Keep your head down. And more important, wait for an opportunity to get a revenge on that chap, Bill, who got you into trouble. Now, that is good in the old world because it keeps the structures and the discipline. But we're in this world now. So suddenly we want cross-functional working. We want collaboration. You see all the challenges. But we've built our structures like this. What's worse about it is that if you were running a project in the old world, it's quite simple. You specify it. Once you specified it, you can give it to a group of people. They can execute it. Once you move to the new world, you still have your hierarchy. Your project is sitting here. You've got to get people from different parts of the organization to work on it. Some of them are Bob, some of them are Bill. They don't all report to you. But your project is not the only project in the organization. Everybody is doing activity because you told me the pace of change is going up. So everyone's doing it. You're now in competition with each other. And it gets worse. When you are on the left of this curve, most of the time when you're running your projects, you know exactly what you're going to do and you know how you're going to do it. Tell me what happens on this side.
Learning by
What
doing.
Yeah. So sometimes you'll have a good understanding of what needs to be done, but you're going to do it. Sometimes you know how you're going to do it, and then you learn afterwards. And sometimes you just have to learn by doing, you have no clue. And so you've got to lead other people through that because it's less likely you'll have full clarity. I'm going to stop at that point. I have some work I want you to do.